Okay, this is the Rusty Field Bug Report number 20, and maybe this will be the real executive summary. All right, try to limit this to just a few minutes here. Anyway, I just want to say that, a lot of my ideas are actually kind of based on your idea of making criminal complaints against using law and making criminal complaints against public servants when they get out of line. Okay, and it really that's main thing I learned from you. Okay, but I'm here in Virginia and things work differently here. But I'm starting with that basic idea. Okay. I mean, the cops are just as, in the courts, are just as out of control here as they are in Texas, as they are in other states. Okay? But the laws are different here, so we have to approach things from a different perspective. All right? So, I just want to start by giving you credit for that. But I'm going off in a different direction here. And actually, where I'm going, I think you're really going to like it. Okay? Because ultimately, it's not just two things. All right? One, you got to look at the process that the public servants, the cops and the courts are supposed to go through. While looking at that process, you have to understand what duties they have as far as giving you the opportunity to exercise your rights. And then you have to claim and exercise those rights, assert those rights. And see, the thing is, I just kind of realized this. You have the freedom to speak. You also have the freedom not to speak. Okay, you have the right to speak, you have the right not to speak. So how is anybody supposed to know, which right you want to assert in any given situation? If you don't ever say, hey, I demand the right to speak to a magistrate, then they can just assume that you don't want to speak to a magistrate, okay? That you're asserting your right not to, okay? Yeah, I mean, I guess you have the right not to speak. You have the right to remain silent, too. So you have to declare your right. You have the right to do this or do the exact opposite, too. And they're just going to assume that you're exercising your right to do the exact opposite if you never assume the right to do what they're supposed to give you the opportunity to do. Okay. And I think that's the whole problem, is that practically nobody asserts their right to speak to a magistrate. You have to assert that right. Or they're going to assume that you're asserting your right not to. Okay, don't expect your public servants to giving you, if nobody ever asserts their rights, you can't just go to the UN and say, protect my rights. That accomplishes nothing. Don't just go vote. That's nothing but a popularity contest. You have to assert your right, claim it, and exercise it. Okay? So that's why I say you got to assert your right to speak to a magistrate. If they don't give you that opportunity, and they could, because nowadays we got the technology to do the two-way audio and video communications. It's called video chat. I can do that right here on my eval. All right? So there's no excuse. All right? And it's right there in the Virginia statutes. All right? Oh, well, you can't expect people not to, you can't expect the cops to take you to the magistrate to do the search. Well, I mean, they're supposed to get a warrant by law. That's right in the Virginia statutes. And even the lawyers are excusing this behavior. And they're talking about probable cause. I'm like, wait a minute. You're supposed to get a warrant and talk to the magistrate about probable cause. You know, oh, please. You know, they didn't have, why do I need to argue about whether or not they have probable cause? They're supposed to go argue with the magistrate about probable cause before they can get a warrant. And they're supposed to get a warrant. They don't even talk to a magistrate. See, that's another reason why they need this two-way audio and video in their cars, so that they can talk to the magistrate, appear before the magistrate, so that they can get a search warrant. And they can fax the search warrant. Okay, don't give any of this nonsense. Oh, well, we can't go to the, you know, you don't have to make a physical appearance. Not according to the Virginia statute. I don't know if this is about other states. Anyway, in other states, I don't know about that. But you know what? I've decided that I'm going to find out who, you know, sponsored the bill to get that particular statute into law. It must have been within the past 30 years. Probably, maybe in the 90s. But it must have been, this person could still be alive easily. So I want to find out. You know, I want to talk to these people. You know, because this could be model legislation for all the other states. Okay? And I want to find out why the cops, you know, it's about time that we had to make sure that all the cops had the ability to use this two-way audio and video with the magistrate. Okay, so that they can't come up with this nonsense excuse. Well, we can't bother taking you to the magistrate every time we want to do this. Well, I'm not listening to that excuse. I mean, even the lawyers are giving me that excuse. All right, it's unacceptable, especially today. Totally unacceptable. So I'm going to start find every way I can to put pressure on these guys. All right, to get them to do this, and I'm going to contact, you know, whoever it is that wrote up this legislation, because it's good legislation, but the cops are not following it. Okay, so anyway, you know, look for opportunities that they're supposed to, you know, look in the law and look for any situation where they are required to give you an opportunity to exercise your rights. That's my whole point. You know, and then use that Title 18, 241 and 242. You know, you're the guy who gave me the idea of using that title. All right, it's all your fault, okay? But you're just not quite putting it together with all your state statutes, all right? You know, your constitutional rights, that title, 18, 241, 242, I'm repeating myself. I'm trying to get through. Get you out of that mental rut, okay? Sorry, but you're in a rut. I'm looking over, you know, at you, and I see you in a mental rut. All right? This happens to everybody, okay? You know, it's very difficult for me to get people out of their mental ruts. They're just stuck. You need to get out of that. Get your head out of the Texas code for a while. Go look at code from other states, just for the heck of it. You know. You know, I looked at your Texas code, I mean, because I hear you talking about it all the time. So, and I compare and contrast Texas against Virginia. I want to look into Georgia, Florida, Illinois, New York, so forth. You know, I'm sure you're going to find some. Once you do this comparison, it starts getting kind of interesting. I actually did I'll have to make this quick, but one good thing that I got out of high school was, and I'm just kind of lucky actually. I had a teacher in 12th grade, English teacher. Everybody dreaded getting this guy for English class because he was tough. Yeah, he was tough. But I got him. His name was Mr. Sereno. And for my final book report that I was supposed to do, let's see. I forget how long the report ended up being, but, you know, it was pretty unusual because I think I only needed to make an 8-page term paper or something like that. By the time I was done, it was like maybe 30 pages. I mean, I did a damn good job on it. And, see, I got assigned to do a report on Brave New World. And Serena looked at that book and said, well, that's a pretty short book. So he decided to make me do a book report on 2 books, Brave New World, and guess what? 1984. Which was totally appropriate. I mean, I'm sure he was already thinking about doing that. Once I picked Brave New World, it's like, okay, you know, you're going to do one on 1984 too. Anyway, no, I didn't do 2 book reports. I did a single report comparing the 2 books. Compare and contrast. Okay. Compare and contrast. It's one thing I've learned is that you'll get, in Scripture it says it is there is wisdom in many counsels. Okay, so if you look at things, from different perspectives, it helps a lot. So anyway, that's my whole point. Anyway, Brave New World in 1984. That's very interesting comparison there. So I'm going to have to stop right there and let it go. This is Arrest the Field Bug Report number 20. Thanks. Bye.